Hello and welcome back to the finishing line in association with Hollywoddbets. Tom, how are you?
Hollywoddbets. I'm good. Thanks, Dave. Just back from Leopardstown, actually.
Pretty good.
Alice running there today. So, yeah, good day out.
As you can see, Andrew is he's away this weekend, so I'm in charge again. He's kindly left me in charge, which is very strange, but there you go. I was first going to touch base at Tom and Alice. So how are you feeling after her run, Tom?
Yeah, no, she ran really well. For those of you who didn't see, she finished third. I'm just going to check how far she's beaten, actually. I don't know. She was beaten just under 3 lengths with 6 cents back to third, but no, she ran really well. She came off the bridle now, kind of turning in, and then and ran on really strongly to the line. So I think, yeah, we might either look for a step up in trip or a bit handier over that distance. And the reason I'm giving myself that excuse is we'll see how she is in the morning now, but we might have a look at Cheltenham in April with her, which would be class.
So what you're saying is if she goes to Cheltenham, you'll have to go this time. You won't be able to duck out of it like you did the last time.
No, if Shona would have ran at Cheltenham, I'd have been there. And if Alex runs at Cheltenham, I'll be there.
Wait, Shona was a bonus. We were going anyway.
No, I was only going because Shona. But no, there's a race. There's a full mares card there on the Thursday in April. And there's a mares handicap race. So we said we'd have a look at it before, but she obviously needed to run well here, which she did. So look, we'll have a look what there is for an island as well. But no, it's a really good run, to be honest. So good to see Henry's horses in flying form, Dave. They ran well at Wexford today.
They are actually back in form, and Gavin Cromwell had 4 or 5 winners over the weekend, so he's pretty much back in form, I think, as well.
He was on the next table to me today, having lunch, and I said if he could see our WhatsApp group, he'd walk over and punch me.
Getting on to the racing, we'll touch on the racing a little bit. We might touch base on the preview night Thursday first. Just say thank yous to everybody that came and just have a chat about it. The racing wasn't great the weekend. You know, it's that time of year when Cheltenham's around the corner, so there's not a whole lot happening. Andrew did put up 2 8-1 winners though, so fair play to Andrew for that. He did. He very much did, yeah. Paint the Dream and Cormier.
That Paint the Dream bolted up, didn't he?
Yeah, he bolted up. He did the same thing at the start of the year and then kind of fell by the wayside. But and then I'll tell you what's happening or what the kind of plan is for the next week going forward and then leading on to Cheltenham. But the preview on Thursday went very well. Thanks to Tom, obviously, for being there. Andrew for getting everything going and setting it all up and all the stress that's involved in that. Me and Tom didn't really do a whole lot, only turn up and talk and have a bit of crack.
We turned up and folded things and put them on the table. That's all we did now. And I put a few pens on tables, a few booklets on tables, helped Andrew put a sign up. There's quite a bit there, actually. A lot of putting stuff on tables, very easy jobs. But that's what I like, you know.
Obviously, thanks to Hollywoddbets, the place looked immense. I have to say, it was very, very well laid out, and the video and so forth looks great as well. We had
the video, Dave, is class. I watched some of it last night, and I did not expect it to come out like that at all. Changes camera angles, and
that's good.
Whoever did that, I think they're a Waterford crowd. Like, fair play, they did an excellent job. It's very, very, very good. So.
Yeah, I was going to say we had those. I'd say Andrew knows the guy's name, but they done very well. Adrian Flanagan emceeing and helping out, so Andrew didn't have to lead the whole show. Done excellent as well. Obviously, then thanks to Darragh O'Keefe for giving his time to us. The Witch, we love the Witch. Came down from Dublin, got his thing, and the man himself, Gavin Lynch from up in the ante, helped us out as well, and has been a friend of the show since last year. So it was good, and thanks for everybody for coming and watching online as well. It's actually a really good crack. It flowed well, and just it was good. It was good fun.
Yeah, it was really good fun. I think everyone, and Dara as well. Fair play to Dara, because some of those shows for jockeys are a bit of a nightmare because you can't really say too much. But Dara really got into the swing of stuff. Didn't really care. He got right into the banter.
He got right into the banter, and even when we were sitting down for dinner beforehand, you could tell he was like, he's typical kind of Cork lad. He's just up for a bit of laugh and a bit of banter, and he really took offence to Gavin saying about Appleu Tom's jump, and he was not impressed.
No, he wasn't happy. No.
Oh, it's funny.
It was a really good night, and it was a really good crowd there as well. I know you can't see that on the telly, but yeah, no, there was a right good crowd there. I actually told you, Dave, to take the pens off the back tables. We turn up to the room, and it's full. So yeah, it's very, very good.
It's deadly. And Dino Dave himself is on his little holidays over to Cheltenham. So anybody watching the Thursday Cheltenham, watch out for Dino Dave.
Oh God.
We'll see if he shows up. There's Jason now on Dino.
On Dino. How was your head on Friday, Jay?
I'd say there's a few pints of Heineken in it now.
Yeah.
Right, we'll go on to the racing over the weekend. Before we kick on to anything else, just get the results up here. Give me 2 seconds. So, the majority of the racing we covered was in Kelso, and the first race was the Premier Novices Hurdle Grade 2. Tom, I know you didn't see much of the racing, but yourself and Andrew put up North Lodge, and he was just done by a short head by a horse that was beaten a long way by John Bond the last day. Did you see it?
Yeah, no, I did see this. Yeah, I thought North Lodge was going to win, to be honest. Like a couple of mine that I put up this week, I thought they were going to win, and then they didn't win for whatever reason. Yeah, interesting race. North Lodge is rated 137. Nell's son is 126. He was getting £5 off him. So, however you want to read it, I don't know. Maybe North Lodge didn't run up to his mark, or maybe Nell's son ran a bit better. I'd go for Nell's son improving a little bit. He was beaten a good bit of the way by John Bond the last day, but I think that was a messy enough race. And yeah, likeable horse, 7-year-old. I'm sure he's not going to end up at Cheltenham. It's not really Nicky Richards' gig to go down there with a social runner. But it would be interesting if he went to Aintree or something like that. You know, that form can shake up there later in the season. But yeah, no, a good race. Obviously, Richmond Lake fell, was beaten in fairness. But yeah, a good race, but a grade 2. I don't think any of them will trouble any of the grade 1 horses, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a good race. It was a good race to watch, but not in spectacular form-wise, I don't think. Sure, if you like John Bond, you're happy to see a horse that he beat fairly well come out and win the race. The next one we were touching on was the Premier Chase, the listed race over just about 3 miles. And good old Nutswell, who I've put up about 15 times on the podcast, won at 18-1, and I gave him no shot the weekend. Kim Bailey's a Sportorama, his favourite. I don't think David Bass made enough use of him because he was running on again at the end. He looks a strong stayer at the trip. And Big River ran a fairly decent race all the same. It was probably above his grade, but he ran on to be 4th. Did you see it, Tom?
Yeah, I did. For me, this is a classic Kelso race, isn't it? Like, yeah. You know, Espada Romane is probably by far the best horse in that race. Like his 16s rate 138, he's gone and beaten him. Taking a Spada Romane, I would say, going to Aintree now or something like that. I think that's a fairly nice first run back from him. He hadn't run in 125 days. People will look at that form and say it's a Kelso bloody listed chase. It's not that good, but that Kelso form can be absolutely crazy. So, look, fair play to Nuts well, but I think a Spada Romane is definitely the best horse in the race.
Yeah, I imagine he's trip a lot fitter for it, and maybe the next day they'll make more use of him. But I could see him going to Aintree all right, because he was running well there last year until he fell, till he tipped up. The More Battle Hurdle, Metier was favourite. He was abysmal. I honestly don't know what to make of that horse. Andrews tipped Cormier. After winning the Cheltenham the last day, another win. They're talking about maybe going to the County Hurdle with that horse, I think. He has Cheltenham form, so why not? There's another Kelso race. I don't know what to say about it, really, Tom. I don't know if you
I didn't see this one, but going on the form, I would forgive a lot of horses runs at Kelso. Like, Metier, he looked progressive the last day after he had his wind up and stuff. So I'd still keep on the right side of him. And it's like Autumn Evening. Now, I know he's gone up in the weights, but his run on Leopardstown was very good in a really competitive handicap hurdle. And then he goes to Kelso and gets hammered. Like, I just can't have it that's his running. So I'm happy enough to put a line through those. I see Bouvier finished 9th.
Yeah.
I presume he needed a run badly.
Yeah, maybe he's just past it. But I like you're saying about Kelso, I'd give him another chance, maybe one more run. I'm sure he's probably going to Aintree, maybe the Aintree Hurdle, see how he runs in that. But he is kind of pushing on in years now. And yeah, he's had a good bit of racing as well, to be fair to him.
Yeah, he has. He had 27 runs. He's got a good win strike rate, Dave. He's won 17 of those. So, yeah, look, I'd say they'll give him one more run, and that could be a swan song, couldn't it, at the Aintree Hurdle?
Yeah, someone said in the comments there, Autumn Evening ran well. Big handicap in Ireland, no race at Kelso. I'd say Autumn Evening might be one that maybe will go off a decent enough price at the Punchestown Festival, because they're running badly at Kelso, and Jessie's horse would be primed for the Punchestown Festival. She does it every year, so maybe look at him for Punchestown.
That's good.
The 150 at Newbury, the Great Wood Gold Cup Handicap Chase, Grade 3, and Andrew put up Paint the Dream. Tamarack de Matan, Paul Nichols' horses, who seemed to be running a bit better as well, was second, and Senior Citizen was third. And good old Kildesart, who hadn't run since the Hennessy of not last year, so say this year's season, the one previous, ran well to be fourth and is going to the Grand National, I believe.
Oh.
Did you see this race, Tom?
I did, yeah. I thought Kildesart ran relatively well. But Paint the Dream, guy just bolted up, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's one of these that, like we were saying just before the show, Dave, or he did that on his reappearance off 147. He's then back down to 147 because of what the UK handicapper is doing this year. And he's gone and absolutely bolted up again. He can do this. He can go and do this, and then you could find him out in the wilderness for the next 3 or 4 runs, and then he could go and bolt up again. So, look, fantastic performance, and fair play to them. A real nice pot to win, but I wonder where he goes from here, because now surely he has to go up to a minimum 155, which would be an £8 rise. Has to. So, yeah, it makes life a little bit trickier.
I couldn't have seen it myself. Like I said, Andrew put him up, and fair play to him, but his last few runs, 12th to Cheltenham, 4th to Chepstow, 4th to 4 at Wetherby, and then back down to the mark, and he literally bolted up. He won by 15 lengths, so you can see him going up in the handicap again and probably not winning, but maybe he'll just be one that you have to stick with for when he's on a certain handicap mark. He had another race. Let me try and remember what it was. It was at Doncaster, and it was the Grimthorpe Handicap Chase over 3 miles too. Tom, your tip, Mr. Malarkey was unlucky. He was out battled in the end. He for the first mile he didn't travel well. Then he came back on the bridle and looked like the winner for a long way after that. Got out battled by a really good ride, I thought, by Sam Twiston Davis. He only put the winner into the race, just coming over kind of the last 2 fences. I thought Claude Cap ran well. Probably didn't overly like the ground, but I thought he ran well to a certain point. And then Storm Control the favourite, and some of the others were pulled up behind, but it looked a bit of a slog.
Yeah. This was a painful race for me to watch because Mr. Malarkey got punted enough early morning, and I'd had a few quid on him, and then he started to go back out again. So I said, "All right, well that's fair enough. I'll have another few quid on him." So I'd got well stuck in by the time of the race. And then, Jesus, after a few fences, I went, well, I've done my money here. Like he was trading at like 80-1 on Betfair. It was a huge price. And really, I was expecting to be pulled up. He then gets into the race, turns in absolutely cantering. Then I'm thinking, I'm going to win. Then he looks like I'm going to get swallowed up. And I said, here we go, done my money again. Then he battles on. And I'm thinking, we got a chance here. And then Sam just gets his lad's head, in front a few strides before the line, which was a really good ride, as you said, Dave. But yeah, no, look, you got to feel yourself a bit unlucky when there's a length and 3/4 between you and the winner, and then 24 lengths back to the rest of the competitive field. So, look, he's probably one to follow in again the next day. But yeah, God, that hurt Mr. Malarkey. The winner was very good, though. He's only a 6-year-old. That was a big improvement on form. He's an interesting horse going forward, definitely.
Yeah, I kind of felt your pain, Tom. I thought you had that one, and
yeah,
wasn't to be, and he wouldn't have been for me because I would have definitely backed him the week previous, like we said, if it was at Kempton. But he clearly is like another one, like Painted Dream. He's going to have his day every now and again, just run well, and
yeah, I'd stick blinkers on him the next day, to be honest.
Unfortunately, he didn't get the job done.
No.
Did you see any? Well, you obviously were up in Leopardstown, so I saw the racing at Leopardstown. But did you see any of the other racing today, or anything you want to pick out from the weekend going forward?
I thought the other one to follow in, which was my nap, the Big Bite. It reads that he got beaten 8 1/4 lengths back into 4th. But to be honest, if he'd have jumped the last anyway, he'd have been way, way closer than that. So I'd follow him again, the Big Bite. I think he's got a race in him. What did I see today? It's not a lot, really, is there? I was only watching Leopardstown, to be honest. Actually, there you go. The horse in our race that won, Fighting Fit. He was obviously my selection in that race as well. The way he won the last day against Dallas, you could tell he had a lot up his sleeve, and he's gone and won again and fairly nicely. He's going to go up again and probably 5 to 6 pounds. But I think he's a nice horse. He's improving, and I think there's another win in him. It'd be interesting to see where they go with him. But yeah, I think there's another win in Fighting Fit. And to be honest, without being biased now, Alice would have been one that caught your eye as well, I suppose, if you were watching. So.
Yeah, she ran on very well. She looked a little bit outpaced, and she jumped well too, I thought, today.
Yeah, she jumped well. And I still think things haven't 100% clicked there, whether it's the trip, whether it's, jumping wise or whatever. I think I wouldn't be surprised if she went and improved 10 pounds at some stage, I wouldn't be surprised if she's a 130 mare. So, and she tries so hard. She's so game. So, love her to bits.
Yeah, I do. I think she'll put it all together one day and win a
Mm.
decent pot for you, Tom. I'm pretty sure of that now, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
Uh, we'll go through a few comments in a few minutes. Regards going forward, I'm fairly sure we'll be doing a show Wednesday. Then Imperial Cup meeting is on at Sandown. I mean, it's not the best meeting in the world. We'll probably touch on the racing. And if there's not a whole lot else going on, we'll do some sort of, or I will put together some sort of a Cheltenham quiz. I get Andrew maybe to put that up on Twitter or something, but we'll do something anyway. Next week, I don't think we're doing a show on Sunday because obviously we're going to do some videos of our selections for Cheltenham. That's not fully squared away yet, but I think usually we don't do anything for the week at Cheltenham, but we're going to do something this week. We were talking about that last week, Tom, weren't we? So when Andrew is back,
Yeah.
I'll let him declare
We
that
were,
on Twitter. But we will be on line. We will be on show throughout the week at Cheltenham anyway. Not every day, but we'll have
we were
some.
saying about doing something for when the decks are out.
Yeah, we'll have some
When
selections
we
out.
know the final field, so we're not,
Yeah.
We're still, until we get those decks, lads, we're still, especially in the Supreme and the Ballymore, we're going to be if, buts, maybes, and whatever else. So,
yeah, because we want to do like handicap videos, so on and so forth, but we decided maybe we'll wait till the decks and just do maybe a live show or something, and we'll figure out that this week. But that's what we're thinking anyway. I had something else to say there. No, I can't remember.
I have something else to say as well. I don't know if it's enough.
By the way,
So, shout out! I wanted to give a shout out to Leopardstown Racecourse. The first and second in our race were obviously owned by big owners, so they came over and invited us into the winners' room for a drink, which we obviously took them up on. Somebody offered us tea and coffee, and they got laughed at. We got the bottles of bubbly open. And who walks in but Mr. Frank Berry himself? So we said, obviously, you can't leave Frank go, can you, without asking for one for Cheltenham? And Dave, you're going to love this. I've texted you already, but I can't wait to see your face. Frank's horse for Cheltenham was Sire de Burley in the Pretense. So I just looked at him and I was like, mate, if you knew what I was thinking now, like, come on the STV. So I'd love that horse to go and win at Cheltenham again. Be class. Imagine winning 3 of those. That's unreal. So,
he's a nice man, isn't he, Frank?
Really nice guy. Yeah, we were obviously, going, oh, Frank, give us one for Cheltenham, and he's having a bit of crack. So yeah, really nice guy. Yeah.
Someone wrote in the tips. That's what I had to say. Is there any Cheltenham tipster competition like last year? Yes, I will finalize that this week too. It's just been so busy with work and in the previews and so on and so forth. We kind of have a group that have been gone doing it through the winter, and they will obviously get first refusal on it because last year there was about 700 messages flying around. So I'm not having it as busy this year, but we will do it, and I will put up on my Instagram when I'm taking the names and stuff for it. But yes, we will do that. Tom, it will do the scores like last year and the summer and the Royal Ascot one. But I said it to the lads already. It's a week at Cheltenham for everybody, so the scores are not going to be up every day. Tom is watching Cheltenham and enjoying the racing as well. So we'll try and get the scoreboard done every 2 days, and then have a final scoreboard on the Saturday for doing that.
I'll see how I'm getting on. Monday and Tuesday. Oh, Monday, Jesus. Tuesday and Wednesday might not be too bad. Thursday is Paddy's Day. Probably going to hit the pub. So if I do that, then you're not getting a leaderboard that night. But no, I'll try and get it done then on the Friday morning. But yeah, it'll be loads of fun. You'll know the winners Friday evening.
I'd say the leaderboard with Tom will depend on if garlic bread wins on Tuesday, to be honest. And if he wins, Tom's not going to be seen for dust.
I'm gonna have to do something. For those of you who haven't seen the preview, we got the old beret and the rolls of garlic bread out. So I think I'm gonna have to get something planned if he wins. So I saw someone share something. I actually think it was Kubo. Could be hanging him out to dry here now. But someone shared a quote about Willie Mullins saying, "Oh, Willie's come out about garlic bread and said, 20 runner handicap, very very difficult for him, very difficult for him." So what's he gonna say? Oh yeah, lads, this horse is about a stone well in. Have what you want on it. There's no way it can get beat. Which is the actual answer, is what he's thinking in his head, I imagine. So,
right. So before we go on to the comments from the viewers, I picked out 5 horses that I think are very much worthy favourites, and I want to see which one you think will get bet on. Right. So Honeysuckle,
I think she'll win.
Shishkin,
I think he'll win.
Alaho,
I think he'll win.
Facile Vega,
Dodgy.
Vauban.
I think he'll win as well. But
So,
it's this, isn't it? There's 5 of those.
yeah.
2 of them are going to get beat.
I did this earlier, and yes, more than likely 2 will get beat, but that pays like 22 or something to 1.
We've been here before, Dave. Annie Power. I even did the Annie Power Muggy Aka. Everyone did that. I don't know. I think the bumper is probably the dodgy one, just because you don't know who's going to improve, what's going to happen. Vauban is obviously the other dodgy one. He's got plenty of competition. But look, Duvan got beaten at 2-9 in a champion chase. They get beat, lads. So there's no such thing as a certainty in racing. And if there was, it would be boring and we wouldn't watch, would we? So,
well, the general consensus on the comments is the bumper and the Triumph, which is the 2 I would have picked as well. I think the other 3 are they should win realistically. So I personally, and I said in the preview, my charity bet was on Vauban, and he'd be my real bet on the Friday. So I'd be disappointed if he didn't win. We'll go through some of the comments here now.
I get nervous, Dave. When I get nervous when our horses run, and I get nervous when Honeysuckle runs, because I just don't want her to be beat. She's so good for racing. I just really don't want her to be beat. So
there's actually a comment about that up above. I'll find it in a sec. Have the lads heard anything about the blinkers going on St. Wa? 33s each way. I didn't hear anything. He wouldn't be for me, but I know Tom liked them last year.
Yeah, I liked him last year, and when he won at Tipperary, I thought we had a right chance. Been plenty disappointed. Now he did run well in the Irish Champion Hurdle. It was the Irish. No, it was Leopardstown Christmas. He ran well. Look, if he came back to that county hurdle form, which it's going back to Cheltenham, you never know. He could have a chance each way. But I'd probably leave him alone, to be honest.
That's fair enough. Oh. I don't know what's going on with my TV here.
Jesus.
That's the typical of this show, really, isn't it?
Is that the Man City Man United game day?
No, I was watching a film on Netflix actually before I came on here. I was actually working. I was doing stuff for the gym, and I was kind of in between things. So,
I watched a good series. You get some more questions up. I'm going to find
Gentleman to me, was it Hawthorne Couture who beat him first time out? It could have been. We touched on this in the preview regards Willie Mullins' horses, and out of the 3, Hawthorne Couture be the one for me. Blue Lord is the one for Andrew. St. Sam is the one for Tom. I said it, and I think Tom, you said it as well. They're not that they're no hopers, but Fernie Hollow was the main Arkle horse for Willie Mullins. And I think when he got injured, it was like, what do we do now? So I wouldn't be sure on any of the 3 of them.
The series I've been watching or binge watched over the last few days is the Fear Index. I think it's on Sky. What's that?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, the fear in that. I think it's on Sky. It's good. Yeah, it's good.
Team Aggressive has any plans to get Gavin and Andrew Blair, which I love the way that name is stuck, on the show to pick his brain some more without a crowd. Yeah, I will say that to Andrew, and maybe we get Gavin on some week and have a chat if he's available. He was on last year when we done the preview online, and I know Andrew Blair White or Which does be busy, but he's always helpful when we need him. So I'm sure he'd be willing to come on and have a chat someday if we're going to do that.
The thing to say about those two while you're looking again, Dave, is they're the most genuine, normal guys
Yeah.
you will ever meet. They're just the nicest chaps around. And the same goes for Racing Josh as well, Josh Stacey. He brought me and Andrew around Racing TV the day after the preview in Brentford. Like, you know, it's just nice how everyone kind of looks out for each other, helps each other. And, you know, everyone just loves racing. You know,
Yeah.
so.
I put the picture of the six of us up and said some fine gentlemen and young men and Gavin. And there was no disrespect to Gavin, but as Tom said, everyone was superb the other night. So it was just a good bunch of lads.
It was great to meet so many people as well. There's like a good few people came up to us either during or afterwards, and there looks. I had to leave. I was home late enough, but there looked the makings of a good few drinks to be had with some of the lads who were staying over. So thanks for coming, guys.
Do Hollywoddbets plan to have any specials going into the festival, i.e. money back for 5 wins? I'm sure they do. I will get Andrew on the case now. I'll make sure I text him and send that to him. But I'm sure they do because there was some specials on the preview nights and stuff. So, I just don't know exactly what they are at the moment. This is another Nuts Wells type thing. Discordantly won today after I backed and tipped him 5,000 times. Yeah, that does happen.
Thoughts on Lang and Dan? That one's interesting. The third from the bottom.
Oh, it's all the way down.
Yeah, 8:33. Team Aggressive.
2 seconds now. Okay, thoughts on Langer Dan?
Yeah. What do you think, Dave?
I don't know how they dropped him, to be honest. It was quite obvious that it was a jog around, but I don't know. I still don't think he'll win, Tom. I know why a lot of people are in his camp. A lot of the English tipsters think he's nailed on because of the form from last year, being beaten by Gallup and Deschamps. I honestly think Willie Mullins will have another Grade 1 horse that beats him. I think Langer Dan is a handicapper, and Willie Mullins will have a horse that will beat him that will go on to be a Grade 1 horse.
It's exactly what I would say. Yeah, I can't believe either that they dropped him. They dropped him £3, but let alone like £1. They dropped him £3. £3 for an absolute bob around at Taunton the last day. Yeah, look, he's clearly very well in on his handicap mark. He can be very competitive off a mark of 137. He was two and a quarter lengths behind Gallup and Deschamps, with 9 lengths back to Fleur in the mountain pipe last year. So, I think he's going to be bang there. But as you say, he's open to a proper graded horse, and yeah, I don't know. He's going to be well punted as well, isn't he? The people are going to massively latch on. So
he's going to be well punted. He's going to be overbet. He's going to be short. Yeah. And I know we don't know yet where Willie's horses that are handicapped well are going, but I honestly do think State Man is going to go for the mountain pipe, and that thing is a Grade 1 horse, and it literally has Gallup and Deschamps all over it again. So
I keep an eye out for Gordon Elliott in this year's handicaps. Yeah. I think that man is a machine, and I think he's got a lot up his sleeve, I think, for the handicaps.
The horse that won, I think it's the Goffer, I think is the name of it. But he won the race at Thurles, the Michael Purcell Memorial, I think. He won that a couple maybe 10 days ago. Blow by Blow won that, and then went on to win the Martin Pipe for Gordon. Champagne Classic was third in it and went on to win the Martin Pipe for Gordon. Grand Parody won it last year, didn't get into the race, so that's one to look out for if he goes to Cheltenham. Gordon likes that race as a trial, so we've won here.
Go on.
La Home Presse to avoid Bob and Galopin de Champ. Venetia said today that it will depend on the ground, and if it's pretty soft, he might go up to 3 miles. It would be his first try at 3 miles, but she said she's not afraid for him to do that. So I think La Home Presse is a good horse. I doubt he can beat Bob or Galopin de Champ, but all the races are hard anyway. It's Cheltenham.
Realistically, Dave, that is his only chance of winning, because Bob or Galopin, one or the other, will definitely beat him.
Yeah, more than likely.
Somebody said about what race is Mellon going for, and I said this a while back. If I own Mellon, I 100% run him in that Gold Cup. Like, I think it's an open race this year. There's a few question marks over a lot of them. He's been second at four Cheltenham festivals. If he was mine, I'd run him in the Gold Cup.
Someone has that horse that I touched on at 33s for the Martin Pipe, so well done. Very good. I wanted to touch on one of the first comments. Let me see if I can find it. It was this one. Did you hear what Matt Chapman said regarding Honeysuckle not being good on the After Races preview? Yes, I did. And it's insane. I'm not as big a fan of Honeysuckle as Tom and Andrew. I preferred Benny in that, but she's not bad. She's very good. She's good for racing. I don't want her to get bet. I'd love to see her go through this season undefeated, and if then they talk about retirement, so be it. Annie Power was retired early, so on and so forth. The mares just don't hang around as long as the Geldens when they're top level performers. But Matt Chapman talks some nonsense sometimes.
It's verbal clickbait. That's all it is. Like, you have to come out with a few lines. Apparently, if you're ATR and Matt Chapman, and that was one of them, wasn't it? He just comes out with shit for no reason sometimes, just to hit the headline flag.
We'll do this as the last one, Tom, before we sign off. I'll give 2 and you give 2, okay?
I knew you were going to click on this one.
It is handicap lucky 15 picks. Am I going first?
Go on, you go first.
We're
both going to pick the same one. The Donnelly colours for Willie Mullins.
Okay, State Man for Willie Mullins. So that's one. I go with... I really think Buddy Rich has a good shot in the Grand Annual, so I go for him.
Okay, I've been convinced by this Frontal Assault. I think he's got a hell of a chance. And I'm
looking through them now.
Trying to go through them in my head now. Maybe Dunboyne. Or Gringo Debrell is still in there. I'm not ruling him out. So
yeah, you know what? I know you like Dunboyne, but I'm all in the Tully Beg camp for the Pertemps. So I do think Gordon will win it. It's just he's about 88 horses in it, so how to pick the one is, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, they're tricky, but you'll see. I said this already a while back, that you'll see a lot of money come in a day before or on the day for a couple of Gordon horses, and it'll be normally well found. So keep an eye out for it.
Is this Ben that you have the bet with?
This is the same chap that thinks Chantry House is going to be placed in the Gold Cup, so he's absolutely talking nonsense, Ben. Sorry.
Ben reckons Faugheen and Hurricane Fly, etc. would all beat her. Very hard to compare generations, Ben.
It's impossible, really. It is impossible. Who knows? And then you'll get people who say, what if you took away her £7 allowance and all this rubbish. Just appreciate the bloody horse, for what we have. I think that's something that, when you look back at Corto and Denman, I think we knew it was good, but maybe I didn't appreciate it enough that some random horse wasn't going to come around next and challenge them. And then you had Long Run, who was also a very good horse, poking his nose in. And like, when the one that sticks out for me that you always go back to, well, I always go back to anyway, because I kind of grew up watching it, was Moscow Flyer, Azerty up and Well Chief. Like, God, they were some battles. And this is what I said the last day about Energumene and Shishkin. We could do with Energumene doing Shishkin on the line this time.
Yeah,
because
very much so.
Well Chief, Azerty of Moscow Flyer, they all won. They all had their turn winning. And that made it good. If one of them batters, it was like before Size and John went up to 3 miles. Duvan battered him all the time. Like, they were both very good horses, but it wasn't that entertaining. You kind of knew what was going to happen. So, Energumene, that's what we should touch on, actually, is Energumene looks like he's now back in the picture. I don't know what that drift was on Betfair. It was very, very weird. I wouldn't fancy being the people who've laid him at about 20 to 1, I'll tell you that much. But it looks like he's back in the game now, Dave.
I mean, the exchanges now, I've been getting texts about them, but even for the Supreme, they're going in and out now like a yo-yo all week. And last one, we're going to get Tom to actually say the truth. Do people fancy Tiger Roll again? Tell him, Tom.
Yeah, I think once it doesn't turn, if it turns up soft, I'll be totally against him. And if Prengard turned up, I do still think he'll put it up to him. But I wouldn't have my bottom dollar. That's what I should have asked Frank today, isn't it? Is Prengard running? I wouldn't have my bottom dollar on Prengard running.
I'm waiting on a few pounds for Tiger, and if it turns up soft, more than likely my money's done. I just want to see good in the description, and it's all guns blazing.
That is as clear as day, really, I think.
And on that note, we will see you Wednesday. Thanks for listening, and away we go.